Good to go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Career Fair Prep. My name is Linda Flynn. I'm the Director of Career and Internship Services for the College for Community Health.
And hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Colleen Casenta. I'm Career and Internship Advisor working with Linda in the College for Community Health as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us.
So for today, we're going to get started talking about everything you need to know about the career fair. So we're going to talk about what you need to do this week, pre-fair, we call it, everything you need to do in terms of prepping so that you're ready for the career fair. We'll talk about a game plan for what you should do during the career fair. And we'll also address important items for what you should do after the career fair finishes, really within the first 24 hours.
So as you can see on this slide, you actually have to register for the fair to get some information that you're going to need. You want to get your resume critiqued. We're going to talk about the different ways that you can have that done. We're gonna ask you to research some of the employers so you can find out what employers are coming. We'll let you know how to do that, and really developing an employer plan. What is your plan that day? You don't want to walk in without being prepared. Then during the fair, we're going to help you kind of think about what are your experiences that you want to be telling employers about, knowing your strengths. We're going to really go into depth about an elevator pitch and how to reach out to an employer and talk to an employer at this event, and then what you should be dressed like, what they're expecting from you. And then after the fair, sending thank you notes to the employers and your online brand, what you're like, and how LinkedIn will help you with that.
Okay, so Linda mentioned registering for the career fair. So that's the most important thing. If you walk away with nothing else today, we want you to just take out your phones if you're able to get the QR code here, and it'll bring you to this page on our website, which is the Spring 2024 Career and Internship Fair. You'll be able to link directly to Handshake, and you will be able to, once you launch Handshake, this is what you'll see at the top, and you'll be able to click join event. You can see join event, the little plus sign over on the bottom right-hand side. So that's really important. We want you to register for the fair so that you obviously remember when it's coming. It will be next Wednesday, a week from today, the 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. In University Hall, 7th floor. And we also want you to have access to everything that we're going to be talking about here in regards to what Linda mentioned, especially researching employers and getting a campus map for the fair so that you're fully prepared. So go ahead and register if you haven't already. Send it to your friends as well so that they can register. And on the consecutive slides, there will be a QR code, so you'll be able to scan the QR code and register as well if you don't click on it right now.
Okay, so how do you kind of prepare, and what should you be, getting ready for at the fair? So again, you're thinking about what's this fair for? What is going to help you with it? Are you looking for an internship? Are you looking for a job? Again, so the way you kind of are thinking about this, you want to be ready. So first of all, the fair is open to all students and all community members. So you do not need to be from a specific college. You can be from anywhere at the university, or even if you live in neighboring towns. Attendance must comply with our university safety protocols. You want to bring copies of your resume. So again, making sure that you bring enough. So you're going to be looking at what employers are coming, how many you want to see. That's how many resumes you should bring, plus a few more. Students must bring their Montclair State ID with them. We're going to ask you to swipe in so that we can keep track of who is attending. And then again, you want to do all this registration through Handshake.
And again, that QR code at the bottom, you're able to register right there. Okay, so let's talk more about pre-fair. So now we've registered for the fair. What do we need to think about doing? So like we said, we're a week away, right? So if you haven't already, we would definitely encourage you to have your resume critiqued. That is the kind of that first thing that you're going to be handing the employer when you're at the fair. and you want to make sure that it's polished, it looks professional, and you've gotten some feedback from a career advisor on your resume. So there's a couple ways that you can get some resume feedback. The way that you see here on this slide is you can actually upload your resume directly to Handshake. It doesn't require a meeting or anything. You upload it directly to Handshake, and the system filters your resume to your career office. So an advisor in your career office will be able to review your resume via Handshake. They'll be able to type notes to you, submit notes, and suggest some changes or fully approve your resume if it's good to go. This, keep in mind, you want to give some time with, right? So here we say give a career advisor at least 1 week before the fair time to give you feedback. That's today. So if you want to expedite this, we would recommend submitting a resume on Handshake today, because sometimes resumes, especially before career fair, can take us, 3 to 5 days to be able to get you sufficient feedback. But that's one of the ways that you can just simply go onto Handshake and upload your document. When you log on to Handshake, in the right-hand corner, you'll be able to click on either your initials, or if you have a profile picture, you'll see your profile picture there. You click on that, and you'll be able to see a drop-down menu which lists a documents option. So you just click documents and you'll easily just be able to upload a document directly there.
The other way that you can have your resume critiqued is actually making an appointment with your career advisor. If you go onto Handshake, there's a way of making an appointment directly with someone in your career, in your college at the career center. Again, how you get there is you're going to go to Handshake, and you can get to Handshake through your Nest account. It's a single sign-on. So if you go to Nest, if you see in the left-hand corner, it'll say Career Center. You can click on that, and then it'll bring you to this Montclair State University. You want to click on there, and then you can say, it's going to ask you 3 different tabs are going to be there, and you can just click on make an appointment, and you will be able to see who is available in the next few days to meet with you and go over, sit down in person and review your resume with you. There are 2 different types of appointments that you can make. One is in person or one is virtual. So again, depending on what you want, you have both of those options. A personalized feedback you will get specifically on format and your content. We look at both of those things. You can ask any questions that you want during these appointments, and you will leave feeling that your resume is stronger. Everything might not be done perfectly. You might have to do some things after you leave that appointment but we will give you suggestions on how to improve it and make it stronger and more marketable and of more interest to the employer that you'll be speaking with at the career fair.
And obviously we're encouraging this before career fair, but as we know, it's next week. So obviously this is available to you after career fair as well. So feel free at any point to engage with your career office and schedule an appointment with your career advisor to discuss resume critiques, or anything in terms of internships, jobs, career planning, whatever it might be. Okay, so we've got our resume critiqued, or we're in the process of doing that. Now, what do we recommend doing next? So a really important thing that you can do this week is research the employers, see who's coming to career fair. I think I forgot to check this morning, Linda, but I think we definitely have over 70 employers coming to the career fair next week. That, if I'm not mistaken, at least in the past few years, that's the most employers we've had.
Exactly. Yes.
So it is a big number. It's going to be a busy event, which is great because you'll get FaceTime with all different employers in different areas and different industries. So what you can do to prepare yourself. Again, go to Handshake. When you register for the event, this is a screenshot of the event on Handshake. So when you join the event, you will be able to see a tab right here. There's several tabs, a details tab, a map tab, which I'll mention in a second, and all employers tab. If you click the all employers tab, you will have a list of all 70 plus employers that are attending the career fair. You'll be able to click on their profile to read more about them. You'll be able to click down here to view additional details. You'll be able to see ahead of time if employers have posted internships, jobs through Handshake that they might be discussing with you at the career fair, excuse me. So this is a great way not only to go to the employer's website, to research employers that are of interest to you, to filter on the left-hand side here based on different majors or different job opportunities that they might have available. But it's also a way to really help prep you for what you might talk to an employer about. So what we recommend doing here is, at least before the fair, research the employers, put together some sort of list. We would recommend that you would put top employers, and then additional employers that you want to see, just so that you use your time wisely as you go through the fair. But this is a great place to at least first start by looking up who the employers are. That will give you an edge, and make your career fair experience more targeted once you get into that room.
And I think this is really important that you pay attention to this. This is where a lot of students make the mistake of just showing up at the career fair and really not being prepared. Again, it's really difficult to do this as you're walking around looking at the different tables. If you have some sort of plan ahead of time and you've done your research, it really is a good way to be. Again, developing a plan. So you want to really identify those employers that are really important for you. Um, I just want to make sure, am I on the right screen? Or is
Yes.
this okay? So you want to refer to the career map in Handshake. And what that will do is just that picture that we had before, you'll
This one
see
right
that
here.
the tab was for, yeah, the one before. Yeah,
Yep.
right
Right.
here, you'll see a map. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. You can continue on. Yeah. So refer to the map in Handshake to become familiar with the layout. That's really important. With 70 employers there, it's a little overwhelming as you walk in. So you want to be prepared of knowing where the employers are. Where are they situated? And you want to do this so that you kind of can see, is there a long line at that particular employer? Are you able to go to someone else on your list? Or do you want to go to a few, middle on your list, maybe ones in the middle that you want to talk to, but you want to test out first how you're doing, test out how you're going to speak to the employer. And again, get a little of the jitters out. So again, look at the map, kind of be aware of where the employers are. Um, you can that would be right on your phone, and you'll be able to look at that. Um, sometimes you only have a few minutes with the employers. This isn't like an interview, but it's really just a brief talk that you will have with the employers for them to get a quick impression of who you are and what you're interested in. You need to be ready with an elevator pitch. This is how you're going to quickly, you know, bring what you can offer to the employer, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And also, it's good to have even just a few questions listed that you might want to be asking the employer about something about their company. What's the company culture like? That's those types of things. So look at social media pages on your top employers, make some notes and some recent posts that might be really good talking points for you to have.
And an important thing too would be to download the Handshake app. So if you haven't already, we're talking a lot about Handshake, making appointments, registering for the career fair. You can do all that on your computer, but day of, it would be really helpful if you have your phone available to you, that you would have the app there, because like Linda said, you'd be able to access the fair map, which we will also have available for students via a QR code, but you'll be able to look at the map directly through your Handshake app. So if you haven't done so yet, I'd recommend even right now, just bringing up your app store on your phone, typing in Handshake Jobs and Careers app, and you'll be able to install it for free right on your phone. And that's been really useful for students. You have full access on the app just as you do on the computer as well. So beyond career fair, it's really helpful as well when you're interacting with your career office, you're searching for jobs, so on and so forth.
And then during the fair, what do we mean when we refer to the word experience? So some might get kind of hung up on what they should be talking about. But please remember that your experience is not just work experience. Your experience is everything that you have done through your coursework. It could be part-time jobs or a full-time job that you might have, but also your volunteer experience or your leadership roles in clubs and groups. So remember, you need to be thinking about all of these things prior to the club, so that prior to the fair, so that you're ready to talk to an employer, to let them know a little bit about you, give you that snapshot of what you can offer the employer. So, how do you articulate your experiences to the employers at a career fair? You really should have a couple of talking points. So just depending upon what job that you're going for, it might be some experience that you have, or it might be something that you've done, an event that you've helped run or organize. Again, thinking about highlighting some of the skills that you've developed throughout your time here at Montclair.
And to really develop that, what we recommend, Linda mentioned it earlier, but we really recommend for students is that you actually work on putting together an elevator pitch before the career fair. It doesn't have to be something that you necessarily memorize. You want it to be a conversational experience, but this is really for when you first walk up to an employer, and potentially that first question is they might ask you, tell me about yourself, or you can just introduce yourself. And this is really the direction that we want students to go in terms of preparing yourself. So that you're ready for your day of career fair, because you want to make it a more meaningful experience. Think about walking up to an employer with a prepared discussion points about who you are, giving them some insight into who you are, versus a student who might walk up to an employer and say, hey, tell me about what you're doing here. It gives the employer a really good impression of you, that you're prepared, you've done some research, and you also are able to articulate your experiences and your interests. So the way that you develop a career fair elevator pitch is start with an introduction. Simply, hello, my name is Colin Casenta. I'm a student at Montclair State University with a major in exercise science and a minor in XYZ. So you just start, giving the basic information in terms of who you are as a student. You can mention if you are upcoming for graduation, what you're looking for in terms of internship, part-time job, full-time job, whatever it might be. But you really want to consider sharing your experiences. So to build off what Linda was talking about, this is where you're highlighting the skills that you have, the accomplishments, the qualifications, the different experiences, whether it's from work experience, whether it's from volunteer experience, from class teamwork experiences. What would you bring to the position or to the company? If you're not talking to an employer about a specific position, you can cater this to make it a little bit more general in terms of giving them an understanding of what you are generally looking for in terms of the next step for you career-wise. Other talking points to consider. Consider the organization and the company. What do you know about the company, and how do you align your experiences, your accomplishments, your skills to the mission of the company, the values, the vision? So again, you're bringing together your research on the company or on the position and your skill set, and you're making it very clear and obvious to the employer about how those match up and how you envision that.
Before
You
we
could
move,
also just talk generally about what your passion is, how you want to make a difference, and what you want your experience to be in your career or the first step in your career. And I know I'm talking a lot about this. Keep in mind, we do recommend that it's 30 seconds, a minute at the most. It's something that we want you to consider beforehand, because you don't want it to be a long discussion. It's just an introductory conversation, a handful of lines. We can help you as career advisors set this up, but since we're a week out from the career fair, we just want to give you some information of what to consider as you prepare an elevator pitch.
and we've gotten feedback from our employers in the last couple of semesters with the career fair, and they're saying they're really surprised that students are coming to the table expecting them to do the talking. They want the students to come and give them a little information about them. So it's really important that you have this elevator pitch really just to impress the employer, knowing that you've looked up a little bit about them, that you can confidently talk about yourself and your skills and what you're looking for, and if they are a good fit for you. So again, having the being proactive is really important at these types of events.
And if you are the type of student or person who might be a little bit nervous about those first interactions with employers, that's understandable. It can be a little bit of a, it's a different situation. It can be your first time maybe talking to an employer. So be strategic about that. We're talking about an employer plan. We're talking about an elevator pitch. Be strategic about how you are approaching this fair. Do you want to go to your top employer first, or do you feel like you have a couple jitters you need to get out? Do this elevator pitch, start with an employer who might not be your top employer, just to kind of run through how you feel about initiating conversation with an employer. But again, like Linda said, this does set students apart when they come prepared. It's clear that they have done some research, and they know how to articulate their experience and how they can be of benefit to the employer.
Really important. How do you dress for this type of event? What I would say is really most important is that you have a professional type of dress. It doesn't need to be a suit and tie. We're looking for people that have that almost business attire where you could just have a collared shirt, a shirt and tie, a nice sweater, slacks, nothing too provocative. Um, Again, it's a blazer or jacket is fine, but it's not necessary. A cardigan would be good, a blouse, but not anything too tight. Again, shoes, we don't wanna see high heels, but more flats or closed shoes. Just really looking, a little bit more dressed up than you would normally go to classes with is what we're looking for. Um, Students might say to us all the time, "Well, I don't have that type of attire." We have a solution for you. One, we have Rocky's Closet, which is on campus. You can check that out. It is in the Village Apartments in the Alice Paul Hall on the fourth floor on Clove Road, but you need to make an appointment. If you can go there, there is clothes there that are available that you can just have. They're not charging you for it, but it's more business type of uh, business professional type of clothing. Again, that's available for you if you don't have or don't feel comfortable uh, just wearing jeans and a sweatshirt. That's not the way we want you to go into this fair if possible. Try Rocky's Closet. That might be a great alternative for you.
They have confirmed that they will have Rocky's Closet will be at the fair, outside the fair. And they should be bringing a rack of clothes, blazers, cardigans, sweaters, I would imagine, for students just to be able to grab there. It's first come, first serve. I'm not sure how many articles of clothing that they'll have. So if you can schedule an appointment beforehand, that QR code will take you directly to Rocky's Closet website where you'll be able to get the email contact for them. Email them, schedule an appointment, and it's a great resource for students to make use of. Okay, so now you have successfully navigated your way through career fair. You leave, think about it, and what do you do after the fair? So it doesn't quite finish when you exit the elevator doors on the seventh floor next week after the fair is done. What we do recommend, again, to make an impression, to be memorable to the employer, to get on their radar and follow up, is to make sure to email, contact an employer within 24 hours after you've had the conversation at career fair. So by next Thursday, to prepare a couple of emails specific to each employer if possible, and indicate your enthusiasm, thank them for their time. But really the important thing that you have to remember to do during the career fair is to get the employer's contact information. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the employer contact information will be on Handshake. However, the employer sometimes sends multiple representatives of their company, right? They should likely all or most have business cards with them. So what we would recommend for you, similar to the way that an employer is collecting resumes at a career fair, you should, in every employer conversation, ask them for their contact information if they have a business card. After you finish a conversation with an employer, if you feel like that was something that you really want to follow up on, you want to thank them for their time, um, maybe step back from that employer table, jot down something on the back of their business card that they hand you so that you remember to follow up about a couple of, things that you may have spoken about. It'll help set you apart. So again, we want to send this thank you note within 24 hours. We give you an example here. I'll just read it out for you. So you just address the person. And as you can see, it's not long. This is just a quick paragraph. Thank you so much for speaking with me today at Montclair State University's Career and Internship Fair. I enjoyed learning about, and here's where you mention one or two interesting things that you learned when you were talking to that person. That's where I mentioned it could be really helpful to jot down those things in the moment. So you could always refer back to them, especially if you're talking to a lot of employers. I was especially impressed by, and that's where you can highlight something about their company, something that stood out, that was of interest in working with them. Our conversation reinforced my excitement to join the company and apply my strengths. And this is where you can indicate your strengths or pull upon, mention one or two experiences that you would leverage to be able to work in the organization. Just a quick, simple paragraph. But again, you're customizing it for each employer. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you further about the position. If it's not a specific position, you can say, I look forward to speaking with you further about opportunities at your company, and you just sign your name at the end. And again, totally fine to simply put together an email and send that out directly to the employer that you spoke with.
Another way of keeping the connection current and actually developing and expanding your network would be to go on LinkedIn and ask to, connect with the employers that you're speaking with. That is a good way for them to know a little bit more about you, but making sure that your profile is up to date on your LinkedIn profile. Making sure that all the information that you have given with your resume is on LinkedIn and is current or even expanded upon. That's really important. Another thing that we're doing at the fair this year is we will be doing headshots. So if you haven't done so already, I know that there is a sign-up sheet. Is that in?
In Handshake.
It's in Handshake that you can sign up for a LinkedIn headshot at a specific time during the fair. And if that is completely filled, make sure that you ask at the fair, is there anyone that is a possibility for me to have my LinkedIn headshot done? Because a lot of people forget that they had signed up, or suddenly it goes a little quicker than we had anticipated. But this is a really good opportunity to get a professional headshot. It's a professional photographer that will be there at the site for the length of the career fair. So it's a good
And
way.
I
Um,
worked that portion of the career fair last semester, and we were able to accommodate a lot of students, even more than we had specifically set up on the sign up sheet. So, like Linda said, if it's filled up, don't get discouraged. Definitely ask us day of career fair if there's any room for LinkedIn headshots, and you'd be able to check in and see if that could be available for you.
One thing I also want to say about LinkedIn, which is really important, not only can you connect with that specific person that you might have talked to at the fair, you can also follow the company if you're really interested in it. It's a good way of getting some information if there are any jobs that will be opening up. Sometimes they list that right on LinkedIn. So again, linking with the person that you spoke with at the fair is a good idea, but also linking with the company if you're really interested in working in that type of industry.
Okay, so we're just going to kind of go over some final tips and then send you off to head to the career fair. So just as a reminder, we're just kind of going to bring all the pieces together. So first, we're talking about a resume to critique, making sure that you have your resume get some feedback on your resume, is have it updated, printed off so that you have resumes to be able to hand over to the employers that you want to speak with and bring those day up.
One other thing I want to mention, look professional when you're at this event, meaning bring a padfolio so that you have a place to put your resumes and hold them so they're not just a bunch of papers that you're carrying around. If you don't have a padfolio, that's fine. Go and get yourself a nice, clean, fresh, just folder so that you look organized and professional. It's a nice way for you to put a couple sheets of paper in that too, so that you can jot down your notes as you're going from employer to employer. But again, making that yourself look a little bit more prepared and professional. If you run out of resumes that day, you also can go down to the lab and print more out. The fair is going to be on the 7th floor, but the 5th floor in University Hall has a lab that you can, actually have your resumes printed out.
And mentioning being professional and having a professional look, when we talked about employer research, we mentioned that you should jot down the top, the list and indicate your top employers. So it would be good to have that folder or that padfolio put together, include the list of employers that you want to meet with. If you want to print off the map, take one of have the map on your phone, however you want to present it day of, but that will be a good way to be able to kind of keep your research along with your resumes in a padfolio or a folder that you have. So don't forget to do the research, know key points that you want to talk to about those top employers. And then put together some sort of idea of highlighting your experiences. How are you going to talk to an employer about who you are, about what you've done, and what you're interested in doing when it comes to your career? And that's really going through your resume, knowing what's on your resume, and knowing what things you want to highlight about your future, what you have done, and where you want to go, and what your passions might be for your career.
And then developing your elevator pitch. This is a 30 seconds to no longer than a minute long, just kind of giving a snapshot of who you are as a student, what you're majoring in, when you're graduating, what types of experiences do you have that go along with the type of job that you're looking for, or something that the employer might be really interested in. I think it's really important that you keep this as a nice conversation piece. It's not something that you're writing down and reading to the employer. It's something that's coming from your heart. If you get nervous, if you really want a tip of how to have a successful conversation with an employer, whatever you're bringing with you, if you're bringing that folder with you, or if you're bringing a padfolio, take a sticky note, and just put like your 3 high qualities that you really want to express to the employer, and put it right on the front so that when you get nervous, you can just refer to that one word. Maybe it's your strong organizational skills. Maybe it's your event planning that you've done. Perhaps whatever you feel would be really important to that particular employer, just putting a little sticky note, kind of just to make you feel, um, as soon as you feel like you're running out of what to say exactly, you can just refer to those couple of words and it'll help you kind of spark the conversation. Oh, you definitely should have an employer plan. So looking at your handshake, looking at the number of employers that are doing, and coming up with who are your top employers that you really want to be speaking with. Remember, there's going to be 70 employers there. There's no way that you're going to be able to go to each one, but having a plan, putting maybe there's like 15 employers that you're really interested and you want to know more about their company or know more about the job that they're actually posting. So again, have your most important employers at the top, and then again, there might be a few that will surprise you, and they're the ones that you're thinking, oh, I didn't realize that's what that company did. So again, look through the plan, look through the handshake app and see what employers are coming. Know more a little bit more about the details of that company, but develop a plan of who you want to be seeing. It's a great opportunity for you to be talking directly to representatives of an employer instead of them just you sending them an email. They can put a face with your resume and make an impression on them. It's a great opportunity for you. And last but not least, don't forget that last step. Thanking them for meeting with you, taking the time to discuss the opportunities at their organization. A quick thank you note email is great. So remember, in that Padfolio or in that folder, keeping the business cards so that you can actually write that email to the employer. And not and also remember, try and link up with them on, connect with them on LinkedIn. That's an important step too, to not only start your networking, but expanding on your networking. Okay.
Okay, so now we've gone through the pre-fair, during the fair, post-fair, what to do. So hopefully you feel prepared and ready to go for career fair. Just as a reminder, it's next Wednesday, March 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. It's going to be on the 7th floor, University Hall. We will be there. Hopefully we see you. If you see us, mention that you took this career fair prep. And if you have any questions, Linda and I will hang around. You're also encouraged and welcome to stop into your own career centers in whatever your college, your major within the college is, whether it's CART, business school, CCHL, whatever your college is, you have your own career center as well. So feel free to stop in over the next week if you have questions, or contact your career advisors for any specific questions as well. Like I said,
What
Linda and I will hang around for a second. I'm just going to stop the
One, yeah.
recording.
No, hold on. One more thing.
Sure.
We are recording this, so we are going to try and put this up online so that if any of your friends, if you really feel that this was important and it helped you prepare for the career fair next week, tell them about it. There will be a link on the main career center with the. It's probably going to be through YouTube. It'll be a YouTube link that they can actually view this presentation when it's more convenient for them this week.
Thanks, everybody.